Everyone, welcome to my very first YouTube video. I'm so excited to be making this video for you guys. I'm super excited to talk. I just like to talk, and I'm so excited that this is the first video. I'm so excited to see all of you here. What better way than to kick off our first YouTube video than talking about the Chismebox. The Chismebox video was insane. It's insane. It's still going. I'm still reading comments. I'm still shocked over how much traction that video generated, how much commentary that video has and is still generating. I'm so excited. I think what better way than to start this first YouTube video than talking about the impact of the Chismebox. So let's get started. So let's talk about it. I feel like on this channel, I'm going to be so real. I'm going to talk about so many different things. And I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for you all to get to know me better. But first, let's talk about how did we even start the Chismebox? What happened? I keep getting this question over and over again. And people ask and the people want to know, what is the Chismebox? What's the purpose of the Chismebox? How did we even come up with the idea of the Chismebox? And honestly, I think the whole reason why so much scandal behind that Chismebox is because of the word chisme. And people are like, why are you promoting gossip? And that's not what it is. So to begin with the Chismebox, here's a little backstory for the current school that I work for. We are a restorative justice model school, and we also work with social emotional learning, SEL. And because of that, we have the school has implemented a school-wide Circle Monday, meaning every Monday the teacher will pick a topic and we have the students get in a circle and we share feelings and we share questions. They share their feelings on the topic that the teacher picked, and they don't like it. I will be completely honest, the kids don't like it. It felt forced. It felt like this is something that we're making them do. And as soon as I would say, hey, it's Monday circle time, they would And so I had to find a way to get them to drink the juice, to drink the Kool-Aid. I had to get them interested in the circles that we have to complete every single Monday. Also, in a lot of my videos, you do see me talking to my students or I'm eating, and I think that's what throws people off. And I'll read comments or people say, do you ever stand? Do you ever teach? I'm like, yes, but I don't record when I am teaching. I record during class, during lunch, or I record during my advisory period. An advisory period is, think about it as your homeroom class. And I see these kids every single morning for maybe 30 minutes tops. And the sole purpose of that class is social emotional learning, to get to know them. It's the sole purpose of the class is for them to feel safe, for them to have a space with an adult on campus that makes them feel safe and heard. So one day, I think it was a Monday, one of my students comes in and she comes in really happy. And if you watch my videos, you can hear her voice a few times that, she comes up in a lot of my videos. She comes in and she tells me, Miss, during the weekend, I was on TikTok and I was watching a Teachers of TikTok video, and I believe it was a preschool teacher, if I recall correctly, and the preschool teacher, kindergarten teacher, I'm not too sure, she had something called a tattletale box, and the purpose was that in the video, kids would write their tattles, put them in the box, and then the teacher would read the tattles on video. And the kids were so excited. They're like, we should definitely have a box like that. We need something like that in the class. Like, Miss, can we please make a tattletale box? And, at first I'm like, a tattletale box? Like, you guys are a little too old for a tattletale box, don't you think? Because again, I teach high school students. And she says, okay, fine. So let's not do a tattletale box. Can we do a tea box? I said, a tea box? I was a little confused what she meant by the tea. And then she says, like chisme. And I said, oh, okay. So she says, can we make a Chismebox? And I said, okay. If you guys want a Chismebox, go ahead and make the box. You guys make it. You guys design it. But we need to have rules. And the rules are going to be the same exact rules that we have for Circle. So again, the rules to circle are what's said in the circle. What's said in the circle stays in the circle. Everybody respects one another. We respect everyone's opinions. We respect everyone's answers. We do not interrupt. Everybody has a chance to speak. Everybody's allowed to voice their opinions. There should be no names included during circle time. Everything needs to be a safe space, basically. So we have set rules, set guidelines that are set during circle. So they said, okay, so, I talked to my entire class. I think I have like 28 kids in that class. Everybody was on board, and they come back the next day. They have this little black box, and they're like, Miss, this is the Chismebox. So, okay, so I put the Chismebox somewhere, and I explain it to the class what the Chismebox is, what we're going to use it for, and that's how the Chismebox was created. Before I forget, one of the major things that I remind my students is I am a mandated reporter. Therefore, anything that is put in the box that needs to be reported will be reported. And that's something that I like to tell them all the time, because I need them to know that yes, I am a safe space for them, but there's certain things that if they tell me, I will report it because it is part of my job. So that's also another rule of the Chismebox. And also during circle. So all my students know this, everybody's on board, we all agree. And that's how the Chismebox was created. Now, I'm telling you that these kids did not like circle time. So whenever I would say, hey, whenever I get there on a Monday and I said, hey, you guys, let's have circle. Like I said, everybody just wasn't happy. It's something they didn't want to do. So circle's supposed to be Monday. So since they made the box on a Tuesday, I said, okay, well, we'll read it on Friday. So Friday comes along and I go grab the box, and surprisingly, the box was full. It was a full box, and I'm like, wow. So before I read them, I told them all, like, okay, you guys, we're going to do the Chismebox. And then one of my students says, Miss, you should record it. Record our reactions. You should record. One of my students says, Miss, you should record your reactions to reading the Chismebox. And at first I really did not want to. I'm like, no, because if you guys have noticed, I talk with my face and my hands, and I'm very, I can't fix my face, if that makes sense. Everybody's always telling me, fix your face. Because whenever I don't like something, I make a face, and that's just who I am as a person, as a teacher, as a woman, as a friend. You will read my face. I don't have a poker face. I can't hide my reaction. So they think it's hilarious. So they're like, Miss, just record it. Again, I was like, okay, so let's just do it. So we did. So I started reading the box. I started reading the Chismes in the box, and I thought it was funny. And this is that reading of the Chismebox is the first time that I ever had my entire class engaged in what we were doing during circle. So in a way, we were doing circle. They just didn't realize that it was a circle. It was an informal circle, and they were all participating. They were all talking. They were all laughing. And that's what we want. We want our students to be engaged. We want them to be entertained. We want them to pay attention. We want them to drink the Kool-Aid, basically. So the funniest one was the one that I read that says, I miss my ex. And I'm like, no, you don't. But to me, that was such a natural reaction, because they tell me every single day they come in and say, oh, I miss my ex. Or they're sad because miss my ex this or my ex that. And I can be teaching a full lesson, and they will stop me in the middle of the lesson to say, I miss my ex. And I'm like, okay, well, that's very nice, but let me continue my lesson, and it happens. And I think that, the box was such a great way for them to leave all their feelings in that box without having an interruption during class time, which honestly is amazing to me, because it avoids the distraction. We want them to drink that Kool-Aid. We want them to be interested. We want them to want to be at school. We want them to have a safe place. We want them to feel safe and heard. I want them to feel safe and heard. I want them to know that I'm really there for them, and that they can always talk to me no matter what the situation might be. But I think the fact that the box is called the Chismebox, I think that's what generated and has generated and is continuing to generate so much conversation and so much, I recently it's been a little bit more positive, but when it first started, it was really negative. I don't remember exact date, but I remember one of my sisters calls me and she says, "Hey, like, go look at what I sent you on Instagram." And I said, "What?" And she's like, "Get on your phone and go watch the video I sent you on Instagram." Okay, I'm like, okay. So I think it was like 9 p.m. I'm not sure. And I was getting my kids ready for bed. And I go on Instagram and I click on her message and I see that We Are Me Too. They post a post with my face on it in this video. And they said, high school teacher post Chismebox video. What do you think? Or something along those lines. And my heart just like dropped and I felt hot and I was just like so nervous. And I'm like, oh my God. And they posted my video. And I was in disbelief. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, of course I was like excited because I'm like, oh my God. But then I get to the comments. The comments. I shouldn't have read those comments, honestly. And so at this point, I'm like shaking. I'm so nervous. I'm like, what's going on? So I get to the comments and the comments were brutal. Like, they were just brutal. I think that first night, like I couldn't sleep. I don't even think I slept that first night. I don't know. I don't know why I let it affect me so much. And like I said, I'm going to be real with you all. So it really did bother me, the comments I was reading. And little backstory, I am a huge girl's girl. I think women should love each other. I think we should encourage one another. I think we go through so many things already that like I said, I just love the fact that, we're all women. We need to empower one another. We need to love one another. We should support one another. We shouldn't be haters to one another. We shouldn't criticize each other. And I think that's what hurt the most that I was reading. And I start reading comments and I was a lot. And when I mean a lot, like more than half of the commenters at first were women. And the women went in. They were commenting on my hair. They commented on my nails. I wasn't showing anything revealing. I was wearing I think I was wearing a turtleneck shirt. I'm not too sure. I don't remember. I need to go look again. But they said, I was getting comments that they said, "Oh, you're a bartender teacher. Oh, like, how does she write on the chalkboard with those nails?" Even when I was in school, we didn't have chalkboards and I have a smart board. And I could do anything with my nails. And if you wear acrylics, you'll know that you can do anything with your nails. And I think that's a comment that I still get up to now. And then after the nails, they went for my hair and they say, "How do you teach with that hair?" And honestly, I didn't think there's anything wrong with my hair. I still don't think there's anything wrong with my hair. But everybody kept commenting that my hair was an issue, and then the shirt I was wearing I think was an issue because how dare I wear a long black sleeve shirt to work. And then they said that how dare I wear so much makeup to school, and it was just really negative. And I was like, wow. And then they said, "Oh, plastic surgery teacher," and I'm like, what? Honestly, I think I still get that comment. Honestly, I still get that. And I'm like, what is going on right now? It was really hard to read, especially the hate. Then I had people messaging me saying, "That's such a dumb idea. Like, you're so dumb." And it's brutal, honestly, because to me, if you don't understand something, you don't have to call someone dumb. You don't have to call someone names. You don't have to call someone out their name just because you don't necessarily agree with something or somebody's whatever somebody's talking about, or just because you don't agree with whatever that person is trying to show you, it doesn't give anybody the right to be so cruel. I have feelings. I am a mother. I am a woman. I am a daughter. I am a sister. I am a human being, and I am real. And I think that people forget just because you're on the internet, you think you're allowed to be so mean. But you're not allowed to be like that. You're not allowed. And then I was also reading the positive comments. There was a lot of educators and there was a lot of teachers already that were saying, that's such a great idea. Like, we love the fact that you're connecting with your kids. Like, we can clearly hear all the kids being engaged. And then there was other commenters that were saying, like, how dare you talk to children about exes? Like, how dare you do that? And I said, no. Like, I'm not the one telling them. They tell me. And if you're an educator or you work with children, or teenagers, you will know that they tell you. Even if I say, don't talk to me, they will tell me. And I would never, ever tell any of my students to not talk to me, because they need a person. They need a safe space. They go through so many things already. And if you don't connect with them, they're not going to pay attention. They're not going to show up. Some of them have crazy life stories. Some of them don't have people that care about them, and they need to I want to be the person, and I want to show them that I love them. And there was also the comments where people were saying, that they were asking, well, what is this for? Like, can you give us more background? Can you talk about it a little bit more? And honestly, I think I will take responsibility for the fact that I probably didn't explain it too well in the caption. I didn't really give too much detail as to what I was doing. I didn't explain it in the video. So I will take ownership of that maybe I should have included more details or more background details of what the purpose of the Chismebox. Also, I think people didn't like the fact that it's called chisme, because chisme is gossip. And I think that that's probably why, one of the main reasons why people don't like it. But honestly, it helps me connect with my students. It helps my students. It gives them a safe space. So therefore, I am not going to change the name because this is something they created. But that night, it was brutal. Like, I kept waking up and I couldn't even sleep, honestly. I couldn't sleep. I would fall asleep, wake up, look at my phone, go back to sleep, wake up and look at my phone. And honestly, it was just really hard. And that night was brutal. It was such a hard night. I don't know. I think getting sidetracked, but as a kid, when I was in high school, I was very heavily bullied, and it was so bad to the point that I begged my mom to take me out of school, and I didn't even I didn't graduate in the high school I went to. I was homeschooled, and I graduated from my homeschool. I did my junior and senior year together because I didn't want to be in school. Kids were so mean to me, and this just kind of brought back flashbacks to that time. I don't think bullying is okay, and I'm not that kind of person. I've lost so many people in my life that I would hate to be the reason why somebody would harm themselves, or I would hate to know that the last words that I said to someone was that what did it for them. I always think about that. In my head, I always try to leave conversations with people on a positive note, because you never know when you're going to talk to that person for the last time. Accidents happen. Life can change in 3 seconds. And I would hate to be the reason why someone was done with this life. And that's how I see things. So that's why I try to be positive, and that's why I have never been a rude person, and I'm not a rude person. Even if someone's rude to me, I believe in karma, and I believe in the actions you put out to the world is what the world's going to give you in return. So to me, I'm like, wow, like, what did I do to deserve all this hate? I don't think anybody deserves hate. Nobody does. And it was hard. It was tough. It was such a tough time. Like, I couldn't even concentrate, and I'm like, oh my God. And I had work the next day, and I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to go to work? Like, I just, I wasn't in the right headspace, and I thought about calling off that day, and I'm like, maybe I'm just not going to go to work the next day. But you know what? I put on my big girl pants on, and I said, nope, I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to face this. I didn't do anything wrong, so I'm going to work. So the next day I get to work, and, I'm walking into work, and there comes like a whole little group of my students. They just all like bombarded me, and they're like, Miss, did you see the video? Did you see the video? And I said, yeah, I watched the video. I watched it. Did you guys watch it? And they're like, yes. And that's not okay. We don't like the fact that they're talking about you like that. Like, how dare they talk about my teacher like that? How dare they? And then in that moment, they discovered that I think it's like Latinos with Attitude or Hood's Finest. I'm not too sure, but those two pages also posted my video. And some of the comments on those pages were a lot of men commenting on like appearances, like, oh, I wish if she was my teacher, blah, 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 blah. And then some of the comments, some of my students' parents got whim of these videos, and they were commenting like, we know her and she's such an amazing teacher. My daughter, my son loves her. And it was a lot of that, and it was really sweet to see their reactions. Honestly, it touched my heart, and I was like emotional already, and I'm a crybaby, so I wanted to sit there and cry because they were giving me little hugs, and they're like, Miss, like, we know the truth, and don't listen to that, don't read those comments anymore. And it's something that I tell them, and I always tell them, like, don't listen to the noise, like, do not listen to the noise. But it's hard, and it's really hard not to, and I will be so real with that. And again, that I think the next day, nobody wanted to do anything, to be honest with you. Everybody was on their phones, and everybody's like, no. And my students were going on, and they were commenting back. And one comment from one of my students that will always stay with me is that she went on and commented back to a girl that says, I hate her. And she said she hated me. And hate is such a strong word. Hate is a really strong word, and it's tough. So this student reads that comment, and she comments back to this lady, and she says something along the lines of, what's wrong with you? Like, how dare you, as a woman, as a grown woman, how dare you sit here and take time out of your day to leave such a nasty comment and to say that you hate her when you don't even know her? And then she said something else, and then along the lines of, if teenagers have to teach the grown-ups how to act, don't you see a problem? And when I read that comment, I think I like broke down, because she's right. You're absolutely right. Everybody, I always see a lot of comments, and I always see and hear a lot of people talk about, oh, teenagers don't know nothing, and they bash the teenagers. But in that moment, my teenagers showed me that the bonds that I am working so hard to create with them, they're working. They are working. These kids trust me. These kids, they show up, and I didn't ask them to do any of that. I told them, please stay off the internet. Do not comment. Do not do anything. Like, don't feed into it. But they're like, too late, miss. Like, we're already doing it. We don't like it. We don't like that they talk to you. We don't like the way that they're bullying you. And it really helped us create a whole other Chismebox conversation about cyberbullying. So that I was grateful for. That I'm like, okay, well, let's look at the positive side of this negativity. We get a whole other conversation topic to discuss. So it did help with that. So in a way, I'm like, okay, well, maybe it happened because of this. But honestly, it's been such a crazy journey. And now I have people saying like, hey, like, post more Chismebox videos. And I have been, and I'm trying to do a little bit more with that. So I'm grateful. And now my students look forward to the Chismebox. Like, now they look forward to having these conversations. They look forward to me reading them. The first video, they only wanted me to record their reactions. Second video, they agreed to let me post their conversations. And once people started seeing that, they get deep. Like, sometimes we get really deep, and sometimes the kids are like, don't post that. Some of the times they said, yeah, post this. Or they'll come and say, hey, I have to tell you something, like, record it. I'm like, okay. So it's honestly been a crazy journey, and here we are. And honestly, I think that I honestly am really grateful for the journey, and I'm really grateful to, for everything that happened. And it's been such a personal growth moment for me. It's helped me bond with my kids. So honestly, I am grateful that all of this did happen, and I can't wait to see what the future has in store. So thank you for listening to me rant. If you haven't watched the Chismebox video, go do so now and then come back and let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about. Let me know. I know some of you guys were asking for a few videos. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let's be kind. Remember to always be kind. Be true to yourself. And I hope that you have an amazing day today and that you go out there and be the best you that you can ever possibly be.